Welcome back, friends. As I talk with you, थोड़े time में you find that some new news is coming so fast. इतना जल्दी news is changing now that people cannot even blink the eye and something new is coming. ऐसे वातावरण में हम सबको it is better that we keep a little calm, keep your mind calm, don't get too troubled. Now, there are important things which are coming up. One is the last few hours, the United States is threatening tariffs on all the nations in Europe which are opposing their takeover of Greenland. So they've included France, Germany, Netherlands. They have included all the European nations who are not ready to agree to their acquisition of Greenland. That is not a very good sign because European Union now is getting and there is a rather disturbed. And French President Emmanuel Macron, just now he has convened an emergency meeting, and EU commissioners are meeting, and they are going to see if there is a potent weapon they can use against the United States, which would be putting penalties on some US companies. So I presume it would be Google, Apple, all these would be included. If that does happen, then this could set off a series of trade wars, which is not good for global trade, it is not good for global peace, and it increases the geopolitical risks. So we have to evaluate this as one of the possibilities against the other issue, that is the Indian government. They have a budget coming up. How much debt can negate the impact of all these events that are taking place across the world? Another thing that is important is that India is about to sign an important trade treaty with the European Union. Now, that could be favoring India because, and Europe would now want to rush in. There were only a few chapters left of this treaty to be signed, as I'm informed. But now Europe would want to rush to sign this treaty since relationships with United States do not look to be going in very steady terms. If that happens, then I think at least India has got some good news. Therefore, the Indian market's not necessarily going to react negatively to all of the negative events and announcements happening in the world, but they would also react to their own good news. And India is lacking good news for a long time. So don't think that I'm not changing my stand. I still feel there is some positivity for the Indian markets. Now, in another news, President Trump announced that they're going to sue JP Morgan in the next few weeks because they had closed some of their accounts after January 6 in 2000. That is another thing which is not very good. Having some sort of a conflict with the corporate America is something that, and JP Morgan is one of the foremost banks, so that's something which is not very good again on the US front. Also, we have, there are 1,500 US troops about to be shifted to Minnesota for a possible showdown with protesters over the ICE, the Immigration Customs Enforcement officials raids that took place in Minnesota. And Target stores being one of the stores which was targeted at, and some of the employees were arrested. This is not something very good news either. So against a backdrop of many rather difficult or negative geopolitical news, there are many leaders across the world going to assemble in Davos, Switzerland shortly. And Well, I don't know. They seem to be at loggerheads with each other. This is the first time that they're how they're going to react and see each other's faces. I don't understand. Especially, I'm talking of the political heads, because there are many political heads who are going to converge in Davos, Switzerland, and meet. So how they're going to face each other is difficult. This situation is not very conducive to a healthy trade, international trade. It's not something that can be very, because if there is retaliation from the European Union and another retaliation comes from the United States, then this sets off a series of trade wars. But yet, because Indian markets have been going down for quite some time, they have been not favorably, and it is kind of an anti-AI trade and anti-world. The rest of the world was rising, India was falling. So it may be that this turns out to be a trade in India's favor. At least I think you should understand that some amount of respite is expected. If any good news comes on the Indian horizons, I would not say that this is something that will be expected to remain permanently, because sooner or later then the Indian markets will also react to the global news. Many times you find that the Indian markets are reacting a little slowly. Even the boom times, when you recollect, when the software boom and the dot-com boom had come, the Indian software industry, the software stocks were late to react. They reacted rather late on a positive side. So this time they may react a little late from the geopolitical perspective, but just because India has got its own series of good news, which can be very helpful, it may take some time for it to react. So, friends, stay tuned, relax, and hope that something good turns out from this EU treaty about to be signed over the next few days, also from the budget. But remember, sooner or later, the reality is going to dawn. It is just like the Abhimanyu's chakra view. You will enter the stock market. Many people will enter the stock market, and they have already entered, but the problem is they don't know how to get out of that. If you do not get out of the stock market and your stock's in good time, you will end up getting trapped. That is going to be the secret sauce, the secret of success. Those who know how to get out at the right time will make good money. They may get out, then they may short the market, they may go into some asset classes which will do well at that time. We will tell you everything. Because equities is not the only game in town. Precious metals is also not the only game in town. There are many other games which are going on. If you know which ones they are and at what time, then you will benefit immensely. Please do WhatsApp us on 982-086-1044, and you may join any of our packages, predictions 1 week in advance or 1 day in advance. Happy investing. Take care. Bye-bye.